know if Patrick would want to admit this, but we're a lot alike. We're about the same age. And we end up retweeting a lot of the same things. And I think we both just shake our heads at what's going on in our society. And there are sometimes I'll sit there and I'll be listening to talk to something about something, and I'm like, it's exactly what I'd say. It's exactly what I'd say. And then all of a sudden, hangs a hard left because as Pope so-and-so said, or as one saint once said who had seen Mary or something, and I just go, oh. And what it has done, you know, one quick comment I want to make. I just figured this Roman Catholic comment about the Pope and real marriages and all type of stuff is relevant. It's just, it's made me all the more sad. Because there's so much of a biblical worldview there, and then where the rubber meets the road, where the gospel comes in, that's where all the differences are. That's where all the differences are. And you can't just sweep them under the rug. You just can't do it. That's why I'm really sad that the debates have pretty much ended. The debates that the guys at Catholic Answers will admit were very important in getting them off the ground, they've pretty much ended. I hardly hear about any meaningful debates anymore. And that's a shame. Maybe it reflects the fact that our society is to the point where debate is irrelevant now. And, you know, if you debate, then you're considered unloving and blah, 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 blah. But there was a day when at least Patrick Madrid and I both agreed that these were vital issues that needed to be debated. And we did debate them. Well, he and I only did two, I think. Two, right? The Sola Scriptura debate and the veneration of saints and images debate on Long Island. Am I forgetting one? I don't think I am. Well, yeah, but no, just Patrick and I. Because in those early years, Jerry Matitix was more their main guy. They don't want to be reminded of that, but it was true. We have pictures. We have recordings. And, but, you know, I wish that there was more heartfelt, meaningful debate, because it just seems to me, you know, I hear so many commonalities, and yet it's that gospel issue. That's the key. And of course, it's related to authority and all the rest of that stuff. And but it just strikes me along those lines. Next thing, real quick, we may have to go a few minutes over. Life went in. And I do want to mention that Right Division said, "Thanks, sir. Respectful debate. Appreciate your responses." I appreciate that. That's good. That's a good thing. I don't know if you continued listening past that point, but that's a good thing. Dr. Moeller dedicated an entire issue of the briefing yesterday morning to the Gospel of Jesus' Wife stuff, okay? If you go back when this stuff first broke in 2012, we commented on the program at that time that this was a yawner of an issue. It was a yawner of an issue from a number of different perspectives. Not even talking about the provenance of the papyri, whether it was real or false. The fact that a Gnostic in the 2nd or 3rd century believed wacky and wild things about Jesus. Wow, that's shocking. No, it's not. It's one of the reasons we've been reading some of this stuff. And I need to go back and we need to get back to some story time. We finished Thomas. I know we finished Thomas. But there's some other wild ones that I could grab down here that I actually have close by here that we could look at. But this alleged papyri and the Gospel of Jesus' Wife, I just grabbed this, didn't even know it was down there, forgotten about it. Here's the primary culprit in all this, Karen King. A lot of them are women, not a lot of men too, but there are particular people in scholarship Karen L. King is the Wynn Professor of Ecclesiastical History at Harvard University in the Divinity School. Ooh, Harvard. Ooh, Divinity School. Ooh. Look, folks, it's no longer a Christian institution. Hasn't been for decades. And yet, it's got the name, so everybody goes, oh, great scholarship. Well, she was the one pushing this papyri. And notice that the title of this book, The Gospel of Mary of Magdala, Jesus and the First Woman Apostle. Her whole big thing, all along. I mean, it's just so painfully obvious that these people are grossly biased and wildly imbalanced in how they look at stuff. So, a big, huge article comes out. A guy who did some serious investigative work. I mean, serious investigative work. Came out in the Atlantic last week. Pretty much proving beyond a shadow of a doubt who forged this thing. And he lives in Florida. And you look back at 2012, and when this first came out, oh, the media all over it. See, there's just so much stuff about Jesus that we don't know, and all this stuff, Dan Brown and the Da Vinci Code, and it fit in with all that stuff. I haven't seen almost any regular media coverage of this story at all. Mainly because it's not right before Easter, not before Christmas. It's a timing stunk. But there's so many stories like this that come out, and people just get all upset and angry and like, oh, the world's coming apart, and oh, we can't believe what we believe. And then when the whole story falls apart, which it eventually does, once serious scholarship can be done, some balance can be brought to things, that doesn't get covered. The media doesn't want to talk about stuff like that. No, they want the sensationalistic, they want the anti-Christian. That's the stuff they'll put out there. But then when there's a rebuttal, when there's a response, it's sort of like, oh, ho hum. And then the false story just gets repeated over and over and over and over and over again until it becomes just an accepted truth when it's in fact a lie. And these Gnostic Gospels and people like that promoting it. Hey, how many times in debates with Muslims has somebody grabbed, the folks down in South Africa grabbed Tabor. Tabor's not a balanced scholar in this area. He's got an axe to grind. Oh, but you put enough spooky music in it and pick your facts, and you can make anything sound good. Like the Didache is a secret